Can you help me hide the eggs for the Easter scavenger hunt? My friend Emily asked, her eyes sparkling. Sure, why not? I'm always up for a bit of fun and a chance to spend time with Emily. It's been ages since I've done anything remotely Easter-related. The plan was simple. Emily, her husband, Tom, and I would hide colorful eggs in the woods behind Emily's house. The local kids would then embark on an Easter scavenger hunt, following clues to find the hidden treasures. It sounded like a delightful way to spend a sunny Sunday morning. We gathered our baskets of eggs and headed into the woods. And Tom, ever the strategist, had already marked out a large area with ribbons, dividing it into sections for each of us. Emily took the high ground near the creek to spread the candy, Tom, hiding the small toys, opted for the denser thickets, and I was assigned the area closest to the edge of the woods, a mix of trees and open patches of grass for the eggs. I started with enthusiasm, carefully placing eggs beneath bushes, inside hollow logs, and nestled among the roots of trees. The woods were alive with the sounds of birds chirping and the gentle rustling of leaves. It was peaceful, serene, and I was enjoying myself. As I ventured deeper, I realized I was becoming a bit disoriented. The trees all looked the same, and the sunlight filtering through the canopy created a confusing pattern of light and shadow. I paused, trying to remember the direction from which I had come. Emily! I called out, hoping to hear her voice. My own echo was the only answer. I decided to retrace my steps, but each path I took felt unfamiliar. I panicked as I realized I was truly lost. This was not part of the plan. I had to find the way back. First I tried climbing a tall tree to get a better view. I found a sturdy-looking oak and began to climb, my dress snagging on branches and my hands getting sticky with sap. Perhaps climbing a tree wasn't the best idea, but I needed to see. Finally, I reached a height where I had an overview, but all I saw was more trees. Disheartened and scratched, I climbed back down, my Easter outfit in worse shape, but fixable. Next, I tried to follow the creek, hoping it would lead me back to familiar terrain. It was narrow and shallow, but the banks were muddy and overgrown. I slipped and slid, my shoes filled with water and my dress soiled with mud. After an hour of struggling through the underbrush and mushy ground, I realized the creek meandered aimlessly, leading me nowhere. As I contemplated my next move, I heard rustling in the bushes. I froze, hoping it was Emily or Tom. Instead, a squirrel darted out, chattering angrily at me for invading its turf. I threw a stick at it, but then, a rabbit hopped across my path, followed by a family of deer who eyed me warily while darting through the trees. I was clearly not alone in these woods, and wasn't wanted there, but none of the creatures seemed inclined to help me find my way out either. Desperate, I decided to try a different approach. Remembering a trick I had read in a survival guide, I looked for moss growing on trees, reasoning that it would grow thicker on one side. I carefully examined several trees, but the moss seemed to be growing randomly, defying any logic. I sat down on a comfortable mound of soft earth, hoping to gather my thoughts. Almost immediately, I felt a stinging sensation on my legs. I jumped up, swatting at my dress, and realized my terrible mistake. I was sitting on an ant hill, and they weren't too happy about it. I brushed them off as quickly as possible, but the bites left me itchy and hurting. Hours passed, and the sun began to sink lower in the trees. I was exhausted, hungry, and covered in mud, scratches, and ant bites. Just as I was about to give up hope, I saw something that made my heart sink even further. A flash of white fur caught my eye. I watched as a stray dog, scrawny and matted, trotted into view. It sniffed around a bush, then started digging furiously. Dirt flinging as it clawed. My heart sank as it unearthed one of the eggs I had so carefully hidden. The dog quickly chomped, swallowed it down, shell and all. "Hey!" I shouted, but the dog just glanced at me before grabbing another egg and devouring it. The mangy dog was systematically destroying the Easter egg hunt. I was torn between despair and anger. After all my struggles, this mangy mutt was undoing all my hard work. But then, an idea sparked. If I followed the dog, maybe it would lead me back to civilization. I started to follow the dog, keeping a safe distance so as not to scare it away. It seemed to have a clear destination in mind, trotting confidently through the trees. After what felt like an eternity, I began to recognize landmarks. A familiar-looking rock, a patch of wildflowers I remembered passing earlier. I was getting closer. Finally, I saw it, the edge of the woods, with Emily's house in the distance. Relief washed over me, so strong that I almost collapsed. The dog, sensing its journey was over, wagged its tail at me before disappearing into the underbrush. I stumbled out of the woods, a disheveled mess of mud and leaves. Emily and Tom were standing on the porch, their faces etched with worry. "What in the world? Where have you been?" Emily cried, rushing towards me. "We've been searching everywhere." "I got lost," I explained, "and then I was chased by animals, sat on an ant hill, and watched a stray dog eat all the boiled Easter eggs." Tom burst out laughing, while Emily shook her head in disbelief. "Only you could turn hiding Easter eggs into a wilderness survival adventure," she said. Despite my ordeal, I couldn't help but smile. I had survived the woods, even if I had inadvertently ruined the scavenger hunt. And who knows, maybe the kids would have an even more exciting adventure searching for the few eggs that were left, knowing that an egg-loving stray dog was also on the hunt. As for me, I was ready for a hot shower, a large meal, and a long nap. And maybe, just maybe, I will stick to hiding Easter eggs in the backyard next year and pay attention to where I'm going. Happy Easter!